Guys, I'm sitting here with Adrien. Adrien is the founder of Afromoya, an amazing ticketed platform for African and Caribbean events. So, hi Adrien, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
Amazing. Thank you
How
for coming on the panel today.
how are you?
I'm good. I'm blessed. Long day, busy
Mm-hmm.
day, but I think it's going well. Blessed, as I said. Um,
All right.
so, talk to us a bit more about your platform.
So Afromoya. So Afromoya, as you said, is a ticketing platform for African Caribbean events, but really, more simply, it's a platform for Black-owned events, right? So the idea behind Afromoya is to promote African Caribbean events, um, but also to have a safe space for those events where people can find it easily. So the aim of it really is to ease access, facilitate access to those events for the wider audience. So that's the aim of the platform. And yeah, I started it over 2 years ago.
Mm.
So far, so good. So far, so
Did you
good.
start it before the pandemic?
Actually, you know what? The pandemic helped Afromoya a lot, if I'm being honest with you. Because I had the idea in 2019, actually, end of year 2019. And thanks to the pandemic, I actually had time to put it together. So throughout 2020, I just applied myself and did the work in order to go live on February 2021. And yeah, so yeah, the pandemic actually helped in many, many ways. In
Is
many
it
ways.
in a creative way? You had more time to develop your thoughts. You had more time to connect with other people. In which way did it help?
Well, it helped a lot, first of all, because I had more time. Because at that time, I was working from home. I was still working from home, but I was working from home and I just had more time to dedicate myself to it. So that helped me a lot. And also, you probably remember, but 2020 is also the year of the death of George Floyd.
Mm.
When that happened, it kind of it shaken up the kind of the black world, where a lot of people all of a sudden got into black consciousness because they realized that okay, we need to do something about it. So the demands of Afro-curated events exploded at that time, and it just urged me to create it, to put it together in order to launch something and really to supply that demands that were growing at that time, especially 2020. So yeah, COVID plus the death of George Floyd and the fact that we were gonna, you know, um, get out of quarantining and everything at some point, it kind of yeah, it kind of made me want to get to the bottom of it and see what comes out of it.
Nice. So, what is the importance of having a platform and sharing those events with people? What makes it special?
Well, it makes it special because to me, well, it makes it special in many ways. But to me, it makes it special first of all because it's more than a ticketing platform. It's a paradigm. It's a world I'm trying to create, that we're trying to create with Afromoya. It's more than that because first of all, the aim of it is not only to provide ticketing services, but it's also to shine a light on the creative and proactive brothers and sisters out there. Make sure that they're heard, that they've got a voice. And I like to say that Afromoya is just a stage where the artists actually express themselves. And I'm trying to create a world where we advocate for unity because, you know, Afromoya tends to unite all the African Caribbean events. And also, the platform aims at being authentic as well. So to have all the black-owned events authentic, Afro-created experiences, all through and through on the platform, and also excellence. So all of those combined makes it really special.
So, you would say it's more than a ticketed platform, it's also a very strong community.
Yeah, the sense of community on Afromoya is very important, of course, because first of all, it addresses to the black community. So it's a platform, but it embraces a lot of principles and vision for the community, where Afromoya, in a way, is telling people, let's keep it within the community. Let's empower the community. Let's try and elevate one another. Because by being dedicated to black people, I'm telling black people, this is a space for you to grow. This is a space for you to express yourself. This is a space for you to win. And also, because you win, I win. Because Afromoya can only win if the organizers on the platform win as well. And that's the beauty of it, is the fact that in terms of community, it's a place where not only you can express yourself, but you can elevate, find Afro-created events from your community, of course, and also create a win-win situation between me from the community and yourself. And yeah, just try and empower one another.
Winning together.
Winning together.
It's a lovely concept.
Winning together.
What do people get out of using your platform? What more do you do compared to other platforms such as Eventbrite?
Mm-hmm.
That's a very strong example because it is a winning platform as well. But I've been using Eventbrite before, and then because I am an event producer and I've worked, I would say, around the world, and I'm always in need of those platforms. I started to use your platform, and I really appreciate it because you don't only use that platform for selfish reasons. You actually promote people's events, and you showcase it to different people in our community, but across, many platforms. You talk to people about other people's events, which is lovely. You make it your own. You make it your own. It's very beautiful, and this is why I really like your platforms. Many times when I did an event and people come and ask them, how do you know about events? Found out through Afromoya, which is a beautiful thing. And I would not hear it if it was another platform such as, again, Eventbrite, because it's so, it's just a service. But this is more of a community. This is something I can relate to, and it's quite nice. It's quite nice. So yeah, tell me like the winning points of Afromoya.
Wow. Okay. What you just said is actually a bit moving for me, because what you've just said, what you just described, is exactly what I'm working for, what I'm working towards, and it's very important. It says something that you said that. It speaks to me a lot. Well, the winning points of Afromoya, first of all, like I said, is it's a community platform. So you being on a platform, you get to connect with organizers that are on the platform as well. So that creates an environment where you can connect, you can collaborate within the community, keeping it within the community. So again, that can help you in your business, in your event, and also that can help the community down the line as well. That's the first thing. The second thing, of course, you get a lot of promotion for Afromoya, because it's our pleasure to shine a light on what we do, because there's I would say, true love for our people, really. There's something real behind it, and I get to find out about events by running Afromoya. So it's my pleasure to know what's going on and to advertise on it. So you get a lot of advertisement, you get to connect with the other organizers, you get to benefit from their audience as well. Because the people that come on Afromoya, who are not necessarily your audience, they come on Afromoya and find your event, and they will be thinking, this is also a black-owned event. So the likelihood of these people buying from you, as well as the person that they came for, is huge. So you benefit in many ways, and of course, what I'm trying to do with Afromoya is to create a world where we do more than events. It's a world where like I said, it's a space, it's a paradigm, and this is why very recently we've launched Afromoya Fund, which is the very first financing service for black-owned events, and no other ticketing platform do that. So the aim of it really is to not only to offer ticketing services, but it's also to be a partner of your events, right? To help you get up to speed, right, with your events, because an event organizer is an entrepreneur, right? Even if you haven't got a company as such, but in a way, your event itself is a small company, even if it's temporary. So what it requires pretty much the same thing as a company, right? It does
In a
accounting,
smaller scale, yeah.
marketing, communication, promotion, everything, right? But the problems of an entrepreneur are centered around what? The cash flow. If you haven't got the cash to start up your business, things might become a bit difficult. So a lot of ideas actually are in the graveyard because people that didn't have the cash flow at that time, they couldn't bring it to life. So by having Afromoya Fund, I'm helping event organizers bring their events to life. And again, this is a way to advocate for financial collaboration within the community.
Do you think the community you created is the community you needed? So this question means before you started,
Mm-hmm.
do you feel like you had that community? Because as a African Caribbean
Mm-hmm.
person, individual, sometimes we lack representation,
Mm-hmm.
and even with the people that we work with, there's not so much of that unless you work in a cultural world, I
Yeah.
would say. But then when you created Afromoya, you were able to actually connect with more people
Mm-hmm.
from those backgrounds. And then do you think that this community now that you have created makes you more entrepreneurial, makes you better, pushes you to do better things?
Mm-hmm. It does. It definitely does because it puts me into situations where I had never been before. So it pushes me to not only to handle my time, but also to deliver an excellent service 24/7. So you don't get to, you don't get to chill. You've got to deliver because there's a huge expectations behind Afromoya. What I'm trying to advocate for is excellence to reflect the greatness of our people because this is what we deserve, right?
Yeah.
And so obviously that requires a lot and that is very demanding. But in answer to your question, do I have the community that I needed or at least I expected? Do you know what? Yes and no. Yes, because to be fair, I've been involved in sort of the black consciousness world for a long time. All right. I've been conscious of a lot of things within the community, a lot of problems that needs to be addressed for years and years and years. And I've been attending conferences and, a lot of things evolving around the black community. So the community is not new to me. But what I'm surprised about, and I didn't see that coming, I benefit a lot from women. A lot.
Why women specifically?
That's an interesting question that I've asked myself. I've come up to a conclusion, but 80% of the event organizers on the platform are women,
Wow.
black women, including yourself. And I think the reason why is, well, first of all, I think women tend to be, well, the first thing I found out is that women are a lot more proactive. So in volumes, because obviously to benchmark the market of events, it has become my job 24/7. In volumes, I find a lot more women-led events out there, a lot more, because there's so many issues like within the black women community that needs to be addressed, that it forces women to act on it, to do something about it,
To create those
to
spaces for
create those
other
spaces
women.
for other women. Exactly, because obviously there are issues that we need to address as a community, as the black community. But there's also a sub-community, which is a black women community, where the women are trying to address those issues, and that, you know, that makes them create a lot for other women. So in volumes, there's a lot more.
Yeah.
Whether you want to, black women mental health, black women yoga, black women hair, there's a lot of things related to black women within the community. So in volumes, there's a lot more. Women, they're proactive, they're entrepreneurs, they're creators, they do a lot.
And those things are not even just for leisure. These are quite necessary for people of our community because of underlying trauma that has happened within some people's lives, or racism that is faced by many of us. And some people have it hard. And again, I was speaking to Ruben in our last podcast about identity crisis, where people kind of don't know who they are anymore because of the amount of trauma that they go through. And I think those spaces are so important for women to be able to have representation, for them to be able to look at another person and be like, okay, I see a bit of myself in that person. And this is why those spaces are needed. But how do people find those spaces is by going to a specific platform. And I feel like this is the platform to go to, because you're going to find an event that will group people that look like you and that want to educate themselves and that want to learn new things with you, and it can be from less elaborated business that is on the platform, but it can also be from people that have already made big achievements. So there's no discrimination there. It's very diverse. Myself, I think I've started being on the platform for about a year now.
Yeah, almost a year, yeah.
Almost a year. And I've been loving it. It. You've sponsored our latest, I will say, latest event, which was amazing. I think we talked to so many people about your brand, and people really appreciated it, and they are excited to know a bit more about it as well. But really can't wait to see the journey of Afromoya as well. And I also wanted to point out, my next question was going to be, what is Afromoya looking like in the next 5 years?
Very good question. The ambition of Afromoya is to cover the entire black world. And when I say black world, I mean like literally. We started off covering France and the UK for obvious reasons. First of all, because I was born in France, I was born in Paris. I'm now settled in London. So it makes sense that I use not only my multilingual skills, but also the fact that I've got a French background, I've got a UK background as well. And these two countries hold the two largest Afro communities in Western Europe. So it makes sense to create a bridge between the two and create opportunities for both. And also, the beauty of it was that when you're in Paris, you can see what's on in London and vice versa. So you can see what's on the other side of the English Channel, and that was the beauty of it. But within the next 5 years, because we've been growing and expanding to other countries such as Luxembourg, such as Belgium, Switzerland, etc.
No, don't say etc. Tell us all the countries you've been in.
So Luxembourg, Switzerland, Belgium, France, the UK, of course.
Amazing.
Lately, we've been in Uganda.
Amazing.
Uganda, yeah. Our
Wow.
very first.
So there's nearly 10 countries.
Yeah.
That's a big achievement. That's amazing.
So our very first event very first event that we partnered up with in Africa on the motherland was in the Pearl of Africa, Uganda. Wow. So yeah, I was blessed. And this is only the beginning. So in answer to your question, within the next 5 years, Afromoya aims at being the go-to platform when it comes to black-owned events all around the world. So that's the aim of it. And Africa is, of course, my next target, because this is where the biggest market is for Afromoya. So yeah, I want to there are different ways of consuming in Africa, but I want to make sure that Afromoya is there to lead on, new ways of consuming events across the continent,
More
and
affordable, more
more affordable,
organic,
more
more
organic,
inclusive
ease, more inclusive, easily
within our
accessible.
community, easily accessible.
Exactly.
Because there's also is inclusivity within communities as
Yeah,
well. Eh?
absolutely.
That's a real thing.
So
Um,
yeah.
so outside of Afromoya, talk to me a little bit more about your childhood and where you grew up, and yeah, how you navigated before becoming an adult.
That's a
Were you
very
a
broad question.
troublemaking child?
Um, well, I was born in Paris, but not exactly. I was born
In the suburb.
in the suburb, yeah, northeastern part, which is not really the fanciest one, if I'm being honest. But I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud of it. So it was kind of rough in terms of the social context of the area. But to me, it was a blessing because I got to mix up with a lot of different backgrounds, and I got to learn a lot on how to pull myself off difficult situations, and I think that serves me until now. Um, so I'm the last born of my family. So being the last born of an African family is never easy because
Mm.
people think that you're spoiled. In a way, you are, but on another way, you're also um, I mean, I like to say you also get
Favors.
slapped
Oh,
by your siblings, right? So
you
so
didn't hear that, guys.
so yeah. So you're the little one in an African family. So it's not always that easy. So I've always tried to navigate that by being more mature, being more intelligent, smarter, quicker, um, and uh, and yeah. So that was my childhood in that environment, as the last born in my family. But I also benefited a lot from my siblings um, because I had older brothers and an older sister. They went through their identity crisis before me.
What kind of identity crisis did they go through?
Well, to me, it's the classic identity crisis that you go through when you're a black person, when you're a minority in a predominantly white society. To me, it's
Mm.
typical. It's a classic, and I think we all go through that around the 20s. I think we all go through that phase, and they went through that phase, and I was 10.
They
So
went through it around when they were 20.
when they were 20,
Mm.
and me, of course, I was younger, so I benefited from the experience.
So you
So what they were
understood.
learning, I was learning it, but at an early age. So that allowed me to think things through in terms of community, and to be conscious, to be aware of what it is to be a black person
Mm.
in this society, and what you should do in order to succeed, in order to grow and elevate yourself, and don't let all the external things stop your progressions and things like that. So
Yeah.
so yeah,
How long have you been in London for?
I've been here for almost 7 years now. Yeah,
Mm.
almost 7 years.
I've been here for 10 years. And I
Oh.
still feel very French for some reason. I think it's my accent, it just never goes away. 10 years.
Yeah, it's hard to get rid of it, but yeah.
Yeah. So, what is your. Did you say you do Afromoya full time now?
I don't do it full time because I've got many other activities outside
Mm.
of Afromoya. I've
Tell
got
us about
many
the
other
other activities as
activities.
well.
Um, so because I've been involved in the community for a long time, I've always aspired to settle in Africa one day, and that built up my vision of investing in real estate in Africa.
Really nice.
And I made it a reality recently because, as I said, I'm originally from Congo, and I visited a few African countries already. Ghana, I visited Angola. I'm visiting Ivory Coast very soon. And I've started to invest in real estate because I've understand that the land is probably one of the most precious resource that you can have. And in the world that we live in, to own the land is very important, and especially on our continent, in order to elevate our people here, we also need to settle there and make sure that we all benefit from it. And I see myself settling in Africa one day, and well, not only in Congo, but really any country, any black country where I'll feel like I belong.
Yeah.
And yeah, that made me want to invest in real estate in Africa.
So
So this is one of my activity.
very nice. So what type of real estate? Is it a house? Is it like
Yeah.
a,
So I bought a few lands in Congo and in Ghana, and I've got different projects going on. In Congo, it's more of a typical house that you rent out to people that to the diaspora, the people that comes to visit, etc., etc. So a house and different flats. This is what I'm investing on at the moment. And in terms of Ghana, I've got another idea that I'm going to keep on the side for
oh
now.
yeah.
But I'm going to keep on the side, but I'm sure it's going to be big one day. But again, it involves the land and involves, you know, making sure that the locals also benefit from it, because that's the thing.
Oh yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
the
yeah,
most
yeah.
important thing to me.
Don't take business away from
Oh
the
no,
locals ever,
absolutely not.
because that's
Absolutely
what
not.
a lot of people do with
Mm.
gentrification in
Yeah.
Africa, where you have those businesses. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna give some examples as let's say Aldi or Asda comes to Africa and takes away business from the markets and the
Mm-hmm.
local markets, then it's gonna
Affect them.
it's gonna create jobs,
Mm.
but creating jobs is not enough, because then you're taking away the business of
Mm.
people, and I think we need to rely on ourselves
Absolutely.
as well.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
yeah, as long as you can involve some people, give them jobs, and
Yeah. Absolutely.
um,
Empower them. You know,
yeah,
don't give them the fish, but you need to teach them how to fish
absolutely.
and feed themselves.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, do you think that if someone comes to you and asks for advice on how to invest in Africa, would you be a good person to give
Hmm.
those advice?
Yes, I think so. I think so. I've started quite recently, but I still think I can give away a few tips because, at least in my surroundings, there's not a lot of people that do that. I think there's that's because there's a lot of psychological barriers, uh, and yeah, I think there's a lot to that prevents people from doing it. But this is just how I am. I'm a risk taker, so I like to take risks, and as long as it's in line with my aspiration and my mission, I'll just go for it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so really, the advice I would give people is to address those psychological barriers that they put themselves
Mm.
into, so that they can take a step forward and go for it.
Yeah, that's true. A member of my family moved to Senegal
Hmm.
with her daughters. I think about 3 months or 4 months ago. She's been so happy since,
Hmm.
like the pressure off from, the weather in Africa is amazing.
Mm.
The way of living is just amazing as well,
Hmm.
and she's got family there. Like everyone seems happier. Everyone seems happier. She's been just in such good mood. She's just been radiating, if that's a saying.
I say charged up. She's been
Yes.
charged up. Every time I go there, this is how I feel. Sometimes I feel like I need to go there. I need to get charged up.
Yeah.
I need to, not only get the sun, but also the vibes, and get surrounded by my people, my family, when it comes to Congo, but any black countries, because I don't define myself as a Congolese per se. Of course, I am and proud, but I'm unapologetically African.
Yeah.
So whether it's in Senegal, Ivory Coast, Ghana, Angola, in the Caribbean, Guadeloupe, whatever, I'm home.
I love
I'm
that.
home. So yeah, that's how I
That's
define myself.
beautiful. So I'm really excited to see your journey in the
Hmm.
next few years. I'm gonna keep being part of it because I use your platform,
Yeah, I would love
and
to.
I hope
Yeah.
that we can even do partnerships in the future. I see lovely things like
Hmm.
developing from that as well. Not just the platform providing, but also the people
Mm.
providing for the platform, which is
Hmm.
also very important. Um, but yeah, I have a few more questions for you. These are
Okay.
like the random questions I ask at the end. Would you say that you are happy at the moment?
I am. I think I am. I think I am. You know what? It's a difficult question because, um, in a way, I hesitate because I know exactly where I want to be. As in, like, I aspire to do more. I aspire to get more. But also, I'm grateful for what I have. So, and sometimes we lose sight of that. Sometimes we're so busy chasing things that we lose sight of how blessed we are.
Yeah.
And I'm blessed. I mean, I'm here with you, chatting, having a random conversation, talking about what I do, what you do, etc. We are already in a very good position. And I'm blessed for that.
The foundations of human beings, right? Having conversation and connecting
Exactly.
together, being able to breathe and eat good food and going home, a
Hmm.
roof over our heads. I think these are like the basics and the very important things
Yeah,
to look up to in
yeah.
people around us that love us
But
and that
we
cherish us.
easily forget that.
We
We take
do
those for granted, but we shouldn't.
until something happens. I
Exactly.
usually say, and this is what you hear. Oop, my hair makes it. This is where you hear a lot of people talk about how they had a health condition or health
Mm-hmm.
experience,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's what made them realize that they they are grateful for what they have.
Mm-hmm.
They were not ungrateful before, but they were like, I can have more. I can always have
Yeah.
more. We're always looking for what's next. But what about sitting down and understanding that you have everything
Mm-hmm.
in front of you?
Mm-hmm.
This is what you've prayed for
Mm-hmm.
5 years, 2 years ago. Now you're still looking for the next projects, but look for it with gratitude, not with hunger,
I agree.
and be happy. I think happiness is underrated. And the definition of happiness, every time I ask this question, for example, some say it's a complicated, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not that complicated
Mm-hmm.
because you're looking for happiness in everything you do.
Mm-hmm.
But the foundations of happiness, very simple. Now we all have our own definition, but
Mm-hmm.
looking at this world and the way it works, I think happiness is here. We
Yeah.
have it, it's in front of us, but
Yeah.
it's always good to remind ourselves.
Happiness is where you are. Is being happy with what you have. It's as simple
Yeah,
as that. And yeah, we take that for granted, but we shouldn't. And yeah, it should empower us to go for more rather than create frustration. We should be happy with what we have, and
yeah, and push
we're
through,
blessed and push through and keep pushing
keep
through.
going.
But as you
Yeah,
said, being grateful for what we already have. So yeah,
exactly.
I agree.
So my next question to you is, what would you call this current stage of your life in 2 words? Or it can be one word and another one word. Not actually.
Uh, Transition and empowerment.
Nice. I would know what the empowerment is for. What about transition?
Transition because, um, well, I feel like, how can I put this? In order for you to grow, you need to let go of who you've been at some point. You need to be ready for that. In order to grow, you need to put yourself in a in a situation where you're out of your comfort zone. And that stage of being out of your comfort zone is not always easy, right? But you've got to do the work in order for you to make the most of your potential. So I call that transition because my situation is not always easy. At least it doesn't feel like it. But it's for the best, and I happily go into those transitions in order to get better as a person, as an individual, but also as a professional. So yeah, I would say transition because you've got to transition in order to improve. That's how I see things, at least.
I like that. It's almost like a butterfly in his
Yeah.
cocoon.
Exactly.
You know, it's like so comfortable where it is, but it doesn't move. And then as soon as it takes off, it looks absolutely
Beautiful.
beautiful.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know.
That's a nice picture. Yeah. I agree. That's a nice
Um,
picture.
but I think, this was my last question. Thank you, Adrien, for coming on the podcast. It's always amazing to see people inspire the community, and I'm really excited to see what the future has in hold for us.
Thank you.
But yeah, anything you would like to say before we end it?
Be part of the journey. Be part of the journey. I mean, I would love to have as many people as possible on board, because as I like to say, we are Afromoya, because Afromoya is there for anybody to embrace, and yeah, uh, let's let's elevate and let's keep it within the community and let's grow together.
Amazing. Thank you, Adrien.
Thank you.